Welcome everyone to our step-by-step guide on this versatile and practical windowed organizer hanger by Sweet Pea. This unique design is part of our Sweet Pea January Kiss Sew Along Facebook group. This project will be perfect for organizing all your sewing essentials while adding some style into your sewing spaces. Join us on this creative journey this month as we guide you through the process, providing clear instructions and helpful tips on the windowed organizer hanger. Oh, and don't forget to enter the monthly competition by posting photos of your completed hangers into that Facebook group. Once you've joined the group, you'll be able to find all the rules and details on that monthly competition. And you'll also find a 30% discount code on this design that you can use at checkout. So make sure to check out our Kiss Sew Along Facebook group. I'll leave a link for that in the description of this video. Before we get started, I would like to mention it's highly recommended that you follow the photograph written instructions that we provided with your purchase in conjunction with my video tutorial for the best result on your windowed organizer hanger. And as always, if you found this video tutorial helpful, please like the video and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Well, that's enough of me talking. Let's get the tutorial started. I want to start off this sew along tutorial video by showing you one of the panels. All the panels follow the same steps, so watch carefully. Begin by hooping up tearaway stabilizer in the hoop. Load the design onto your machine and use applique scissors for trimming the fabric. Stitch the place and lines for the zipper. Place the zipper right side up with the zipper closed. Centered on the lines and tape down. Let the excess zipper hang over the edge of the hoop. You will trim this later. Stitch the zipper to the stabilizer, then remove the tape. Stitch the place and line for the mesh or PVC. Place a piece of mesh or PVC on top of the hoop covering the place and line and stitch down. Trim the PVC or mesh 1/4 inch, leaving the rest in the seams. Take out both fabric A and lining 1. Fold the two longer edges widthways, wrong sides together. Press, then repeat with the same process for lining 1. Flip the hoop over so the wrong side of the hoop is facing up. Using the right hand stitching, left is seen on the front of the hoop of the zipper placement line stitched during step 1 as a new placement line. Place lining 1 on top of the hoop with the raw edges 3/8 10mm crossing over the placement line and the folded edge pointing towards the left side of the hoop. Right is seen on the front of the hoop. Tape in place. Turn your hoop back over so the right side is facing up. Using the left hand stitching of the zipper placement line stitched during step 1 as a new placement line, place fabric A on top of the hoop with the raw edge 3/8 10mm crossing over the placement line and the folded edge pointing towards the right side of the hoop. Stitch fabric A and lining 1 down, then remove the tape. Fold over fabric A, tape down and stitch in place. Remove the tape from the front of the hoop, but keep the tape on the back of the hoop. Optional, embroider the words on the strip or skip this step. Alternatively, here you can add your own text using your embroidery machine. Flip the hoop over so the wrong side of the hoop is facing up. Fold over lining 1, tape down and stitch in place. Flip the hoop over so the wrong side of the hoop is facing up. Use the bottom stitch down line of the PVC or mesh window as a placement line. Place lining 2 on top of the wrong side of the hoop, wrong side up. Have the long side of the raw edge crossing the PVC or mesh placement, with the excess fabric towards the left hand side of the hoop. Now tape in place. Return the hoop to the machine. Using the left stitching on the PVC or mesh as a placement line. Place fabric C on top of the hoop wrong side up, with 3/8 10mm crossing over the placement line and the excess pointing towards the center of the hoop, and stitch down. Fold over fabric C, leave lining 2, hold taut and stitch down. Don't trim any fabric. Now embroider the red work. Then repeat the flip and fold process on the back of the hoop for lining 2. Then remove the tape. Optional. We remove the tearaway stabilizer now while we still have easy access to the panel behind the PVC. We also remove the tearaway from behind the zipper. This is optional also, and be careful not to cut the stitching. Now place lining 3 wrong side up on top of the wrong side of the hoop. Make sure it covers all the stitching on the back of the hoop. You can also place batting 1 on top of the wrong side of fabric C, then tape in place. Now turn your hoop back over so the right side faces up. Now open your zipper and pull to the center of the zipper. Tape all fabrics and zipper on the border stitching lines along the top and the bottom of the hoop. This is so the embroidery foot does not catch on the folds. Then stitch down again. Remove any tape. Use the right hand stitch down line of the zipper as seen on the front of the hoop as a placement line. Place fabric B on top of the hoop wrong side up with a 1/4 inch crossing over the placement line and the excess pointing towards the left side of the hoop. Tape in place and stitch down. Then remove the tape. Fold over and stitch down. Note, there'll be another step after the border stitch. Do not stitch this step. Remove the hoop from the machine and skip this step. This last step is here so the machine does not move to the center of the hoop and get caught on the zipper when finished. Optional. Trim the excess batting out of the seam. Now remove the hoop and trim the seams about 1/2 inch with your rotary cutter and ruler. If not removed during the stitch process, remove any excess tear away from the seams. If you use wash away, you can now wash out stabilizer. Once this is all done, hold aside for later. Watch closely as I show you how to join your panels using a regular sewing machine. Prepare your workspace by arranging the hanger panels in their designated order, ensuring the long sides are aligned together for assembly. Commence by placing the first 2 panels together. Aligning their right sides. Secure the panels with pins to maintain their position while stitching. Sew just inside the outer border line on the blocks to keep the stitching hidden on the right side. Once stitched, carefully open the seams and press them flat. Continue the assembly process by joining the remaining panels in the same manner. Ensure each seam is sewn with accuracy and care. To guarantee a tidy final product, trim around the perimeter of the hanger. Now let me show you how to add the optional step of attaching the flat piping. This section contains instructions on how to make and add flat piping to your project. Skip this section if you don't wish to add flat piping. If you do, measure one side of the quilt through the middle to give a more average measurement. This measurement should be exact to help control the symmetry of our product. Use this measurement as a guide to cut your fabric length. Now cut 2 1¼ inch strips that length, fabric D, for the flat piping on the sides. Note, the flat piping strips should not have any joins in them, as this will cause them to look uneven when finished. But sometimes this is just not possible, so try your best. Then press the strips of flat fabric for the piping in half widthways, ensuring the raw edges sit exactly on top of each other. Now check your length measurement. Then continue to lay the flat piping strip right side up on top of the side edge of the join blocks, with the folded edge pointing towards the center of the background fabric. Pin or quilt clip together and stitch into place with a 1/4 inch 6mm seam. Then repeat for the other long edge of your hanger. Then repeat the process for the remaining short ends, fabric E. To guarantee a tidy final product, trim around the perimeter of the hanger. Moving on to the optional step of adding borders. This section provides instructions on adding borders to your project. Skip this section if you prefer not to include borders. Begin by deciding the desired width of your borders. For instance, we chose ours to be 7 cm, 2.5 inches wide. Once you have decided on your width, measure one side of the quilt through its center to obtain an average length. Use this exact measurement as a guide to cut 2 strips of border fabric, fabric F, and 2 pieces of batting 2 to match. To secure the batting to the fabric, lightly spray temporary adhesive on the batting to ensure a secure attachment. Now position the border fabric with attached batting on top of the runner, aligning right sides together. Secure with pins or clips. Stitch together using a 1/2 inch seam allowance. Stitching on the wrong side ensures the stitching won't be visible on the front. After stitching, trim back the batting from the seam allowance to reduce bulk. Then repeat the same process for the opposite border. Neatly fold over and press the side border down. For an optional refined finish, consider top stitching the border and trim any excess fabric. Next, measure through the middle of the hanger, incorporating the new border width in your measurement. Cut 2 strips of border fabric G, and 2 pieces of batting 3 to match. Repeat the temporary adhesive spray process used for the first set of borders. Place the border fabric with attached batting on top of the runner, aligning right sides together, then secure with pins or clips. Stitch together using a 1/2 inch seam from the edge. Now trim back the batting from the seam allowance and fold over and iron the border down neatly. Optionally, top stitch the border for a polished finish. Trim any remaining excess fabric. I will now explain how to add the loops for hanging. Begin by preparing the loops using fabric H. Fold the fabric lengthwise, ensuring the right sides are together. And sew a small 12.5mm 1/2 inch seam to create a tube-like structure. Once stitched, carefully open the seam using your iron's tip to press it open for a smooth and flat appearance. Next, turn the fabric tube right side out using a pin, ensuring the joining seam is neatly tucked in the middle on the underside of the loop. For an enhanced finish, consider performing an edge stitch or top stitch along the loop's edges. To maintain shape, fold the loop in half lengthwise and secure the fold with clips. Machine baste the edges together to retain the fold shape. Repeat this process for the second loop, ensuring both are of equal length and symmetry. Trim or adjust the loops if necessary to ensure they are even in length, and then proceed to pin them onto the hanger. The placement of the loops may vary based on preference. For example, we opted to position the loops approximately 2.5 inches, 6.5 centimeters from the border stitching of the hanger. Finally, secure the loops in place by stitching them and then ensuring they are firmly attached to the hanger. Finally, secure the loops in place by stitching them, ensuring they are firmly attached to the hanger. Now I'll show you the final step of your project, cutting and adding the backing to the hanger. Start by laying fabric eye backing on your work surface, ensuring the right side faces up. Place your sewn hanger on top of fabric eye, aligning their right sides together. Secure them in place with pins, leaving an opening approximately 6 inches, 15 centimeters wide for turning. With a 1/4 inch, 6mm seam allowance, stitch around the edges, being mindful to leave the designated opening. Trim the seams uniformly to a 1/4 inch, except for the section where the opening is. There, trim it slightly wider to 1/2 inch. Clipping the corners helps achieve sharper points after turning. Carefully turn the hanger right side out through the opening. Employ a tool like that pink thing or a chopstick to gently push out the corners for a clean finish. Give the project a thorough press to ensure a smooth and tidy appearance. Proceed to hand stitch the opening closed with care. Another optional step is stitching in the ditch. Select specific seams for this technique. Not all seams require it. Stitching in the ditch results in an invisible finish on the front, with the stitching lines visible only on the back side of the hanger. So ensure the bobbin thread underneath matches the backing fabric, and the top thread matches the fabric in the seam for an invisible finish on the front. Congratulations, your wall hanger is now complete. And that's a wrap on our windowed organizer video tutorial. We hope you've enjoyed creating this versatile piece that's sure to elevate your sewing space. Remember, this design is part of Sweepy's January Kiss Sew-Along. Join in this month's sew-along for a quick and easy project, perfect for everyone, regardless of your skill level. Remember to share your creations once you finish your project and connect with fellow crafters on the January Kiss Facebook group. You'll find a link for that in the description below. Finally, thank you for joining us today and stay tuned for more exciting projects from Sweepy Machine Embroidery. Find us at sweepy.com, that is swpea.com.